welcome to our free online Teamcenter basics training. Now you can learn Teamcenter anywhere, anytime and at your own convenience. We are into our 8th session and now we will look into Teamcenter Properties. I am Naresh White and I will be your host and guide as we explore Teamcenter Properties. So let's get started. So in this session, we are going to explore about Teamcenter Properties. Properties are used to add definitions or more meaning to Teamcenter objects. We will start with overview of the properties and look into how to view and modify properties and its values, and then close the session with printing the properties. By the time we complete this session, we will have a better understanding about Teamcenter Properties. We will also have a good working experience on viewing and modifying Teamcenter Properties. Properties. Properties are used to define or add more meaning to Teamcenter objects. By now, we know that there are many types of objects in Teamcenter like items, datasets, forms, and many more. All these types of objects are defined by its own properties. Every object has many out-of-the-box properties, and during building a customer-specific data model, we can add additional custom properties to define new types of objects like new item types, new forms, and so on and so forth. Properties are created during system configuration in BMIDE application. And in our day-to-day interaction with Teamcenter, we as users fill in these properties with relevant values during creation of Teamcenter objects like items, forms, datasets, and so on. After creation, these properties can be viewed by users to understand the object and its definition and its usage. So we use View Properties option to review the Teamcenter objects. Basically, we open the properties to view the properties form. Basically, when we open the properties to view, the properties form will be displayed in read-only format. So we can only view and cannot modify these properties. We can also view properties of multiple objects by selecting multiple objects at a single time. If you remember from our previous sessions, we can also view properties in My Teamcenter Details tab. By default, the Details tab is organized with few properties which we can sort, filter, search and export. And we have also explored in our previous sessions on how to perform column management and configure these Details tab with more user-specific properties. We can use column management to configure table data. Here, we can add, remove, reposition the properties as per user requirements. Let's start our Teamcenter live demonstration on properties. So let's go to our first item and we go to our viewer. You will see the properties. So similarly, for item, if at all you want to view the properties, you have to right click and use view property. This is the properties dialog box wherein you have some filtering properties which falls into the general tab. There is some project specific properties, and if you click the all, you will see all the properties available for this particular item. If you see, there are most of them like filled properties. If at all you wanted to view the empty properties, click the show empty properties hyperlink. And as I said, this form is right now read only. So we cannot modify any of the properties here. We can display the same properties dialog by selecting the first item and going to view and properties. Okay. And again this is read only. If at all you wanted to view the properties of multiple objects, what I do is I can select multiple item revisions, right click and then say view properties. This is how the multiple view objects properties will be displayed, and there are already existing properties which will be displayed. You can also view properties by selecting the details tab. As I said here, there are few properties already existing which can be displayed, and if at all you wanted to view more properties, let's go and work with our column management. So select this column management. So we get a column management dialog box. This is here we can remove few properties and add some of the properties from here. So we have added 3 more properties and just apply here and then close. Now automatically you can see those new properties added here, the current name, date created and the description field. This is how we can configure this particular details view. If at all you wanted to save this particular column configuration for future, you can just click the save column configuration and give a name and then do save. So this will be saved for our future sessions. Till now we have explored on viewing properties, and we also noticed that these properties were only in read-only format. Now let's look into how to modify these properties. First, the user should have change access rights to modify the properties. Here we have 2 ways to modify the property. First one is we can directly use edit properties option. And the second option is from our view properties dialog. We can check out the properties so we get access to modify these properties. When the properties are displayed for editing, few properties will be editable and few properties will be non-editable. These non-editable properties are usually system specific properties which are populated by system and should not be modified by any user. For example, owning user, last modified date and few more. Once you change property values, you can save and check in to commit the changes. Modifying multiple objects at a single time. Modifying each object may be a painful process if you are modifying many properties in many forms. So to help users to quickly modify multiple objects, we have an option to modify multiple objects simultaneously. Just multi-select objects to be modified and then go to edit properties. This will open a new dialog with common modifiable properties. Once we are here, we can modify the properties and submit or commit the changes. We can also use find and replace some of those properties. Then we will be more interested to understand how to modify these properties. So select the first item, right click and do edit properties. And here we can do checkout. This is one way. The other way is right click, view properties, and here also we can do checkout and edit. So the same read-only form is now seen without this read-only patch, so we can modify. Let's modify the property description and use save and check-in, and then check-in back. So this is one way of modifying the properties. The other way is through here, directly go to the edit, and here we get checkout option, and then start modifying the property description, and again the similar action, save and check-in. As we said before, that if at all you wanted to do multiple edit, there is no point in doing one by one. So we wanted to do a multiple edit by selecting multiple objects, right click, and then do edit properties. Then check out both the objects, and here we see the properties which we can change. So you can change the description to modification and then submit changes, and automatically this got modified. And here also you can do the changes and do submit changes. This is how easy to modify simultaneously multiple objects. And even if at all you wanted to find and replace something, you can do it from here. You can find testing and then replace with training. We can do a find next and then do a replace. So you see that it got replaced by training. You can cancel it. So this is how we can modify the properties using our multiple edit option. Here we are in our last section of this session. We will focus on printing these properties. Once we open and view the properties dialog box, there is an option to print these properties. Once we click print, we get options to print in HTML or in text format. Choose the right format and just click on print command. You will be able to print the properties. We will go to the print option. Right click, view properties or edit properties, and there is a small button here which shows us print object properties. Once we select this button, it opens the print dialog with all the properties. And here we have something like HTML format or text format. To view this in text format, select the text and the display changes to the text format. And again we can save to the file or give a print of this particular file. In this session, we have explored about Teamcenter Properties. We started with basic concepts of Teamcenter Properties and then looked into how to view, modify and print these properties. In our next session, we will explore the security or data access in Teamcenter. All the data which we created till now has to be securely managed to avoid any accidental corruption of data. So data security is one of the important concepts or function in any PLM system, which we are going to explore in our next session. So till then, goodbye and see you soon.